What you need to make you a real king is a real queen.
Well, I've already got one.
Heaven is offering you a rose and you cling to a cabbage.
But what
Is
I...
that nice to Charlotte?
Alright, so I have exactly 10 minutes to talk to you guys because then I have to leave for Prithvi Theatre. I'm watching this play of NASEERUDDIN Shah and his theatre company. It's called Motely. The theatre company is called Motely. And the play that I'm watching is a two-character play by NASEERUDDIN Shah himself and his wife Ratna Pathak Shah. And it's called Dear Liar. And I'm very excited about it because I booked this about a month back and I got to know that within a day tickets were all sold out. So I'm really very excited to watch this one.
My lord! My lord!
And shortly after lunch was running off the sands to her hotel.
Why am I making this video in such a hurry is because I want to share with you guys that how I spent the last 3 hours looking for an inspiration. And what does NASEERUDDIN Shah and his theatre company have to do with it? Also guys, I have set an alarm which is precisely the time when I want to leave, so I don't get delayed because as it is I like to talk in front of the camera, so I don't want to deviate from the main topic. So as soon as my alarm rings, I'll be off. Okay, so a little background is NASEERUDDIN Shah has a theatre company which has lasted for 4 decades. And this is the year when they are celebrating their 40th anniversary. His theatre company is called Motely's and they've been doing a lot of plays at Prithvi, at NCPN, in Dadar and many other places where they have I think a total of 42 productions. I'm not sure they are performing all of them, but most of them, all their classics. And of course, because I was going to watch this play Dear Liar by Motely's, I thought that let me read up a little about this play because I like to do that. Even any movie I watch or anything that I see online, I like to do a little background check from my end. So I'm not entirely lost, so I have a fair idea and I know the background, especially of the artists and all the creatives who are involved in that entire process. So I like to know, I like to be aware. And as I was reading about NASEERUDDIN Shah and his theatre company, at the same time, frankly, I was also looking for an inspiration for my next video. I was just feeling stuck because I was just very busy in the last 1 week. We were recording a new song, then I was busy with a few edits for my new company, then even pitching for clients and lots was going on. So I did not get as much time as I wanted to make this video. When I was reading about this theatre company, checking it out on Book My Show and everything else, I saw its logo, which is the Motely's official logo, and there I got hooked on to this one line which is mentioned below, which says, in Godot or Godot or however you pronounce it, it said, in Godot we trust. For a second I thought maybe it's like a slang for God and maybe he wanted to say in God we trust. So I started reading about it and I got to know that there is this one play which is called Waiting for Godot. That happened to be the first play that this theatre company of NASEERUDDIN Shah, Motely's, their first ever production was Waiting for Godot. In many articles that I read online, there was a mention of this word Godot. And I was just too hooked on to this term, and what does it have to, it's just a play after all, what does it have to do with NASEERUDDIN Shah and his life and his theatre company? And imagine he even went on to incorporate this term, in Godot we trust, into his main official logo of the 40th anniversary. And when I started reading about the background of this play, I realized, I got to know that this play, Waiting for Godot, is in fact one of the most significant English plays of the 20th century. That completely blew my mind because I didn't expect it to be that important. So anyway, so I started reading more and then doing some background research again about this play, and I was just so amazed with the whole context of this play, the whole plot, the whole story, the basic main idea of Waiting for Godot. It's just a story of 2 characters waiting under a tree for a person named Godot to come, but he never comes.
A shabby man named Estragon sits near a tree at dusk and struggles to remove his boot. He's soon joined by his friend Vladimir, who reminds his anxious companion that they must wait here for someone called Godot.
Are you serious? I was like, what?
So begins a vexing cycle in which the two debate when Godot will come, why they're waiting, and whether they're even at the right tree. From here, Waiting for Godot only gets stranger.
You know, there are such profound lines that are written in this play, which I was just so hooked on to. Especially the last line of how one of the characters, they say that perhaps we should start all over again. And the other one said,
That should be easy. It's the start that's difficult. But you can start from anything. Yes, but you have to decide.
just to decide to do something is the hardest part. And then it struck me that, me looking for an inspiration was actually waiting for Godot. I mean, it will never come on its own. In fact, the things that I do in the process, the things that I do in the time being, become an inspiration by itself. And that's how I thought that, oh man, this video has to be about waiting for inspiration to come. And this got me thinking, that NASEERUDDIN Shah, having performed their first ever play, Waiting for Godot, I mean, imagine the kind of gratitude he has for that particular play, because at that time I read somewhere online that that was just such a tiny production which was not even their best work, and they themselves had doubts about that play because they never themselves understood what the play is talking about. But somehow they were able to just take that step forward and form that company, that just form that production. I was thinking that looking for an inspiration may just seem like a very difficult task. I mean, you may not even find anything worth doing, or you may not even have the courage to just take a step, and you may not even have probably understood like what actually can inspire you to create something. But then I realized that just the fact that we decide to do something, just the fact that we are clear about taking that first step, man, you will become a sensation after 40 years. That's the story of NASEERUDDIN Shah and his theatre company, Motely's. Really understand it, there is inspiration everywhere. I mean, you don't need to wait for that perfect time, for that perfect thing to come about in front of you, and there you go, it will answer all your questions. That'll never happen. What I realized after reading many articles on this play, Waiting for Godot, is that you have to just merely decide, make up your mind to take that first step, and then it'll all just follow. What an inspiration. I just want to quote NASEERUDDIN Shah, what he has to say about this logo, In Godot We Trust. He said that if it hadn't been for Godot, Motely wouldn't have existed. We owe Godot a great deal. It's brilliant. Everything will make sense in the end, right? Even though at times, especially when you begin something, it may not be the best thing to start with, and you may not even be fully convinced about it. But if we are able to... My alarm. I was saying that, but if we are able to somehow just take that first step and sustain it, persevere through every obstacle, through every problem, every roadblock, we will definitely be having a lot of gratitude for that first step that we took. And after 10 years, 20 years, or 4 decades in this matter, it will all be worth it. Okay, so that's about it. I have to leave now. I have my show timing and I want to get good seats at Prithvi, so that's why I'm going early, so I get that perfect seat to watch this play. So I'm gonna see you. Ta-da! Prithvi Theatre चलेंगे. Prithvi Theatre. Thank you. चलिए. Thank you, Naseer Saab, for being such an inspiration and not just waiting for Godot, but actually taking that first step of forming this wonderful production. Deep gratitude. I think I have found it, my inspiration for at least next 2 months. I don't have to worry about my videos.
Oh, the vegetables have triumphed over their producers. On the next train from Victoria, and shortly after lunch was running off the sands to a hotel. The last minute you were funking, or else be ousted by a bolder soul.
Oh, you are blind. You are worse than blind. You have no taste. That's true.
My lord!
My lord! The Queen, my lord! And now that it's all over, there is an indescribable peace. Amen.
The first presentation happened in 1994. The way he left us some years ago, as you all probably know. But we are certain that from somewhere in the ether, he is still watching over this production. And I think he'd be a little miffed if there is no round of applause for him.